I think finding a home that's going to be where your kids grow up, where the neighborhood kids come in, where the trick-or-treaters come, whatever it may be, it fills your life with memories you can't get any other way and brings all kinds of pleasure.
Meet Warren Buffett, a man who isn't just rich, but $165 billion rich. He's got more money than the entire GDP of some countries and controls a $1 trillion empire. He could buy the most ridiculous, over-the-top mansions on the planet. So where does he actually live? We'll get to that in just a moment. But first, let's check out what billionaires usually do with their ridiculous stacks of cash. Starting with Kanye West. See, he doesn't just buy houses, he buys statements. From a giant ranch in the middle of nowhere to a house with no windows, no color, and barely any furniture.
Just this vibe, this new energy. Like, I'm tired of the McMansions, all the Spanish roof homes and stuff like that. Like, that shit whack, bro. Like, everybody house whack.
I mean, his $57 million Malibu fortress looks less like a mansion and more like a secret villain's base. And while Kanye is known for living in the spotlight, he's tried hard to keep the inside of this place private. Fitting for a man whose last home, a $60 million palace, ended up with his ex-wife Kim. But here's the twist. The entire backside of the house is just large windows. So much for secrecy. But this next billionaire has so much money, his biggest struggle is deciding which mansion to wake up in. This is Jeff Bezos, the Amazon kingpin, and he spent a whopping $175 million on a mega mansion in Beverly Hills. And let me tell you, this place isn't just a house, it's a full-blown kingdom. 13,000 square feet of don't talk to me unless your house has a golf course. He's got a guest house fancier than most 5-star hotels, tropical-themed swimming pools that scream midlife crisis in paradise. Oh, and let's not forget the private tennis and basketball courts so he can work on his game between rocket launches. Damn, looking good there, Jeffrey. But wait, it gets crazier. This estate actually has a 9-hole golf course and its own European-style garden, designed to feel like you've stepped into a royal palace. But look, he took his garage game to the next level, because it has a motor court with built-in gas pumps. Now, this is just one of Bezos' homes, because with all his cash just laying around, owning a single mansion just feels poor. But this next billionaire took his house to the next level. See, this isn't just a house. It's Michael Jordan's 56,000 square foot shrine to the greatest basketball player of all time, sitting right outside Chicago, and it could be yours for $14.9 million. See, Jordan's been trying to sell it for over 10 years, and the reason is obvious. It isn't just owned by Michael Jordan, it is Michael Jordan. The gates hit you with a giant number 23. Step inside, and it's a full-sized NBA court with Jordan's logo stamped right in the middle. There's a locker room and a scoreboard, meaning it's an MJ museum with bedrooms. And that's just the start. From a circular infinity pool, a putting green and tennis court, to a cigar lounge, and even a wine cellar shaped like a basketball holding over 500 bottles. There's even a pond stocked with fish. Here's where it gets crazy. The dining room features a rare Baghdad table, one of only 10 in the world, showing off the entire city's power grid. But here's the twist no one saw coming. After years of no buyers, MJ had the drop price by over 60%. And now, the new owners plan to turn the whole thing into a luxury timeshare. A timeshare! That's not the ending we expected. But imagine being one of the richest and most powerful men on the planet. See, this is Putin's palace, a $1.4 billion mega estate on the shores of the Black Sea that makes regular mansions look like backyard sheds. It's part royal castle and part luxury resort. Because when you have absolute power, why not have everything? There's a private theater, a full-on casino where, let's be honest, Putin probably never loses, a nightclub with a stripper pole, obviously dude needed to wind down after destroying another country, a vineyard, a church, and even a tea house for quiet evenings plotting world domination. Oh, and a helipad to manage a quick escape. But here's where things get suspicious. No one has seen the inside of the Black Sea Kremlin. Even drones aren't allowed over the estate. The whole compound is surrounded by high walls, military checkpoints, and enough security to make Fort Knox look like a playground. And if that wasn't enough, Putin reportedly has multiple high-tech underground bunkers.
The bunker itself is clear preparation for the worst-case scenario. He was also considering a possibility of chemical attack.
Built to survive anything, these bunkers are rumored to be self-sustaining mini-cities with their own air filtration, food storage, and top-secret defense systems.
The bunker was constructed to have 2 different supplies of oxygen. There's at least a tunnel to bring additional provisions.
Officially, the Kremlin says Putin owns none of it, but leaked documents and whistleblowers tell a different story. But look, we gotta talk about the home of the second greatest footballer in the world. See, Lionel Messi recently signed a 2.5-year deal with Inter Miami in a move that broke the internet. He didn't just move to Miami, he took over. While Barcelona was crying and Saudi Al Hilal was still trying to process the rejection, Messi casually scooped up a $10.75 million waterfront mansion like it was a pack of gum. A small investment when you're the second highest paid athlete in the world. This place sits in the exclusive Bay Colony, and it's the definition of baller living. 10,500 square feet, 8 bedrooms, 9.5 bathrooms. I don't even want to know what goes on in that half bathroom. And to top it off, a 3-car garage and 170 feet of waterfront space with 2 private boat docks. Messi doesn't just play like a goat, he lives like one. Inside his mansion, you'll find a home theater, perfect for watching himself win the World Cup in HD, a private gym to keep breaking ankles well in his 30s, a water pool and spa because the goat needs the rest as well. And if that wasn't enough, his neighborhood has a private marina and round-the-clock elite security. It's less of a gated community and more of a VIP fortress. David Beckham might have brought him to Miami, but let's be real, Messi runs the city now. But look, while most billionaires flex with mega mansions, private islands, and driveways longer than a runway, Steve Jobs, he flexed by tearing one down. See, back in 1984, Jobs bought a massive Spanish-style mansion in Woodside, California, called the Jacking House. The only problem was it was a relic built in the 1920s. Now, it had all the old money drama, arched windows, staircases, and a name that sounded like it came with a family curse. However, Jobs hated the house from the start and thought it was outdated, clunky, and completely opposite of his sleek, minimalistic taste. So what did he do? He abandoned the house and let the place fall apart. But that wasn't enough. Jobs wanted to burn it down to ashes and build something more of his style. Government said no. The Jacking House was a monument they wanted to cherish. So he let it all decay and mold and fought a legal battle for nearly 10 years to get permission to demolish it. You have to give the man some credit for his persistence. And guess what? In 2011, Jobs finally won the case. Boom, gone. Moral of the story, let Steve Jobs do what he wants. And I would let Bill Gates do whatever he wants too. Cause he dropped the mansion so extra, it sounds like something out of a tech fairy tale.
Is this just like the coolest house of all time?
For me, it's the coolest house of all time.
See, Gates bought the land for $2 million back in the 80s, and then casually poured in another $63 million to turn it into the geek palace of the century. It took 7 years, 300 workers, and a vision straight out of Citizen Kane to bring a 66,000 square foot tech fortress to life. But here's a secret not many people know, because this project wasn't just about his own house. Gates had one rule: no neighbors, especially ones who like cake. So he spent another $14 million buying the properties around his mansion just for privacy. I mean, if your net worth is $97.5 billion, why wouldn't you want to own your entire zip code? And since he's the father of modern computer tech, his mansion features incredibly futuristic technology. Smart tech is everywhere. There are speakers behind the wallpapers, and your music literally follows you around everywhere you go. Every room in the house is wired with sensors. And as a guest, you wear an electronic pin that customizes the lights, music, and temperature to your mood. It's like your house is reading your mind. But it's not just the guests who get special treatment in this mansion, because there's a maple tree in the driveway monitored 24/7 by a computer. If it gets thirsty, it's instantly watered. That tree has a better healthcare plan than most humans. Zondu 2.0 isn't just a mansion. It's a Microsoft-powered luxury theme park for grown-ups. But if you thought Zondu was extreme, wait until you see the next uber-expensive mansion, because it's time to hop across the globe for this next one. Welcome to Antilia, a $2 billion skyscraper home towering 570 feet over Mumbai's skyline, owned by India's richest man, Mukesh Ambani. 27 stories of pure, unapologetic luxury. From being located in one of the world's most expensive addresses to being designed by Chicago-based architects Perkins and Wills, Ambani went all out with Antilia. The structure was inspired by the lotus in the sun, which somehow ended up looking like a 5-star cruise ship parked midair. Everything about this mansion screams expensive, with its own helipad to enter your house in style. The top 6 floors are Ambani's private residence. Below that, a full-service spa, a 50-seat cinema, hanging gardens, a temple, multiple guest suites, and yes, an ice cream parlor. But Ambani didn't stop at suites, because this dude needed 6 floors of parking to house his toys. It's basically a Fast and Furious sequel waiting to happen. But here's where it gets wild. Ambani's paradise is located in Mumbai, a city known for its hot summers and grimy air quality. So Ambani installed a snow room in Antilia, where the walls spit out artificial snowflakes. You see, this isn't just a house, it's a vertical kingdom. But look, the president of the USA doesn't play around either, because Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago isn't just a house, it's a full-blown political soap opera set set inside a beachfront palace. Initially built in the 1920s, Mar-a-Lago was meant to be the American Versailles. Trump first tried to buy it for $28 million. It didn't work. But when the market dipped in the 80s, he swooped in and snagged it for a bargain.
It's very sad, and it just shouldn't be this way.
If there's one thing we've learned about Trump, he gets what he wants eventually. But the real magic began in 1995, when he transformed it into an ultra-exclusive private club. The estate sits on 20 acres of prime Palm Beach coastline and has 128 rooms. Yep, you read that right. A 20,000 square foot ballroom dripped in gold leaf, multiple pools, tennis courts, a private beach, and a lot of historically questionable decor choices. Oh, and let's not forget about the bombshell bunkers, because nothing says resort life like a blast-proof hideout. Mar-a-Lago now charges $200,000 just to walk through the front door, with $16K in annual dues. And that's before the cocktails. But while we're on the subject of controversial billionaires, in Montecito, California, between rolling hills and ocean breeze, lies the promised land. Not a metaphor. That's what Oprah Winfrey literally named her home. It spans 70 acres, sits on a hill, and has a view that looks like it was hand-painted by angels. But the story of how she got it? That's the real plot twist. Oprah's promised land came as an unexpected stroke of luck.
What? Hold up.
Originally owned by Robert and Marlene Velos with zero plans to sell, Oprah showed up toward the place and fell head over heels. Then, without blinking, she offered $50 million on the spot.
You lady in the blue. Come up here a minute, please.
What is this? What are you doing?
You get a car! What? You get a car!
That's $36 million more than what they paid. Suddenly, not for sale became sold. The estate now sits at over $100 million in value. A 23,000 square foot neo-Georgian mansion with 6 bedrooms, 14 bathrooms, and enough fireplaces to host a Game of Thrones reboot. Oprah's love for bathtubs is no secret, and her Montecito bathroom is a whole mood. She's got a giant circular tub that looks out over the Santa Ynez Mountains. But the real showstopper? The garden. Curated by celebrity rose expert Dan Bifano. The garden is filled with lilies, dahlias, daffodils, and irises. And just when you think it can't get more Oprah, there's a walking trail she named Hallelujah Lane. Yeah, she really is a nutcase. But I wouldn't say the same about this next guy. See, Elon Musk is worth $330 billion. That's not rich. That's, I could buy Twitter for fun and name it something dumb rich. So naturally, you'd expect him to live in a mega mansion. Instead, he lives in a $50,000 tiny house in rural Texas. That's less than a luxury car, tucked away in Boca Chica, just steps away from SpaceX HQ. Musk's house is a 20 by 20 prefab casita, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and possibly the most efficient billionaire lair in history. But it wasn't always like this. At one point, Elon owned 7 mansions worth over $100 million. However, he sold all 7 properties for a single cause: freedom. The total value of his 7 homes was well over $100 million. After shredding his vast portfolio of properties, he moved into his foldable unit. But to him, it's minimalistic, functional, and located just steps away from SpaceX HQ. Now, obviously, that's a crazy downgrade from his Bel Air mansion. Eventually, Elon moved into a modest 3-bedroom ranch nearby, rented from SpaceX itself. But don't let the downsizing fool you. Rumor says he's secretly buying up $35 million worth of properties in Austin to build a mega compound. Musk, of course, denies it. If he says he's living simple, probably means on this planet. Because when your backup plan is colonizing Mars, real estate takes a whole new level of meaning. But look, we've seen how billionaires cash out on their houses. But now it's finally time to find out where Warren Buffett lives. See, Warren Buffett is worth $167 billion. And yet, he still lives like your neighbor who brings his own coffee to save $2. While other billionaires are building fortresses in Malibu and mountaintop retreats in Aspen, Warren's sticking with wood paneling and a good old-fashioned front lawn. No mega mansion, no private island. Just the humble 6,570 square foot home in Omaha, Nebraska. He bought it in 1958 and paid $31,500 for it. Today, he could buy that house over 129,000 times and still have change for a few billion-dollar stocks. But here's the thing. Buffett isn't into trophy homes. He's an investor at heart who'd rather stack shares of Apple than burn cash on maintenance-heavy real estate.
I wouldn't fool around with computers when I could be in this position.
He stayed in the same 5-bedroom, 2.5-bath home for decades. Not because he can't afford anything else, because it's where he raised his 3 kids and built his empire. And let's be real, Nebraska isn't exactly Beverly Hills, so the cost of living is low, the vibes are chill, and the Wi-Fi works just fine for trading billions in stocks. Warren's lifestyle is living proof that sometimes it's not where you live, it's how you play the game.